Jalen Brunson, 42 tonight. Only the fourth Knick in history with back-to-back games with at least 40 points. Knicks up 3. Under 40 seconds to go. Brunson, the key 2, puts the Knicks up 5. And the Knicks are now 2-0 on this road trip as they beat the Kings 98-91. Great win for the Knicks. Great to have you with us from our Delta MSG studios. Bill Pito along with Alan Hahn. Monica McNutt will join us shortly. It's one thing to hold the Sixers down. It's one thing to contain the Magic. The Kings average 118 points per game. This is their second lowest point output in a game this year. They held the Kings to 91. Yeah, Brunson was phenomenal. They got help from a lot of players. But the defense tonight, Alan, was fantastic.
Yeah, it was. You know what they're doing? And we've seen this now with the league. We saw a memo went out, reports said to all the teams, letting them know they have talked to the officiating about trying to bring the pendulum back to the middle, being offense and defense. So physicality coming back in the game, and that's obvious. And when you let the Knicks know, we're going to let you play physical, that's right exactly what they want to do. This game was a brawl for most of this game. Look at the free throw disparity. We'll talk about that. But as far as the way the Knicks want to play, that's how they want to play. And so you have a Kings team that does play well at home. They score a lot at home, but they're not used to this kind of physicality. My key to the game, what was it? Physicality. The Knicks had to raise their level. They did in this game. The officiating allowed it, played right into their hands. And then, of course, you have All-NBA, All-Star, Superstar, Jalen Brunson leading the way. When it was winning time, he made some big shots.
Knicks now in the East, only 2 games behind third-place Cleveland. Remember, they own the tiebreaker against the Cavs.
Oh, yeah.
And Brunson, 42 points. Patrick Ewing, Melo, and Benard King, the only other Knicks in history to have back-to-back games with at least 40 points. Brunson joins that group.
Yes, he joins that group of beloved Knick players because all those names that you mentioned are all names that get standing ovations now when they are at the Garden. And Jalen Brunson getting standing ovations not just at the Garden, but everywhere he plays around the NBA. You heard him talk about the atmosphere at the Golden One Center, that he liked it. A lot of Knick fans there. But as I said, he was cooking. When he came back into the game in the second quarter, something just turned on for him. The switch, whatever it was, his compete level took another step. But also his shot making. These were guards, once again. This is not like a bunch of friends. Look at that play right there. Now again, Keon Ellis has played really well defensively, but that he rooked him right there with that little point and then go the other way. And right here, Bill, you can see the list. Look at those names. As I told you, those are beloved Knick players in franchise history. Jalen certainly has become one as well.
All right, fourth quarter, Knicks held the Kings to only 17 points. Isaiah Hartenstein was excellent tonight, and Domantas Sabonis did not score a single point in the fourth quarter.
Wild.
Largely because of the D from Hartenstein, who had 5 blocks. Knicks holding the Kings when it mattered the most, and that's really why they won the game. Their fourth quarter defense was fantastic.
It really was. And, you mentioned Hartenstein. Hartenstein didn't get to a double-double, but I thought he was fantastic. We'll talk more about him later, but you see here, look at the passing here. That finish by Brunson, are you kidding me? He doesn't jump that high, but he still can hang and get that finish. I mean, that was a special kind of and one. And then this, just walking into a three-pointer, knocks it down. Yeah, blow the kisses to the crowd. And then here, look at Bogdanović. I thought, we were waiting for him to have a moment where he started giving you the offense you needed, and he did. And then Hartenstein was not looking for his shot, but look at him right there. Yeah, and one, that's right, let him know. Now, okay, so the Kings keep pushing back, and we kept wondering, is it the 100 going to be the difference? But it was 98 that all that mattered, but that bucket there, when he points and Ellis takes a look over his shoulder thinking his screen's coming, totally rooks him, takes it right to the rack. And you see the shooting there. Neither team really shot the ball well. But I'll tell you what, it's all about the rebounding effort. You see the score, the low score, that plays into the Knicks. And once again, Bill, as we mentioned, the physicality aspect, one of the P's we talked about, huge in this game tonight.
Knicks were outscored by 8 from the foul line, but still won it by 7. Monica McNutt now joins us, helped call the game tonight with Kenny Albert. Monica, there have been 40 wins. This right up there among the most impressive, especially because what the Knicks were able to do on defense.
Man, Peter, I need to let out like a deep sigh after sitting courtside for that ball game. And I heard you, Han, talking about it. Physical, yes, capital P. But I think And quietly, it was 15 seconds to go in the ballgame until I realized Domantas Sabonis had been held to 0 scoring in that fourth quarter. Even though Isaiah Hartenstein's performance was big throughout the ballgame, it was nothing quiet about this 40-piece compared to the one that Jalen Brunson put up in Portland. And I actually think, although the total percentage between Alec Burks and Bojan Bogdanovic doesn't look great, but the 21 points from those guys really helped keep the Sacramento Kings at bay in those bench unit minutes. And so the only thing missing from making this one a high-level playoff-style basketball game is better three-point shooting, as both teams were hovering around the 30% mark.
Yeah, and Monica, you know, we had mentioned before the game all the different things that you wanted to expect the Knicks to do in this game. You had the paint, right? You had that kind of stuff, and I was talking about the physicality. All that stuff was a big part of this game. But what we didn't really know was what we were going to get out of OG Anunoby tonight in this game, right? Because the elbow had him questionable going into this game, but he played. We saw the way he shot the basketball. There was not a lot of confidence there in that shot. But how about we just discuss what he did bring to this game? Presence alone on the court. Are we now 15-2 when he plays, Bill, right?
Yes.
15-2 when he
correct.
plays. I thought, you know, while the box score doesn't show it, once again, the little things that OG Anunoby is able to do, just being on the court, just shows you how important he is to this team.
I agree with you. Technically tonight he finishes +6 with those, 6 rebounds in this one. But you have to account for him. And even though he didn't have a bunch of steals, again, his ability to stay in front of either De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk, in spots having to guard Domantas Sabonis. Think about that play, guys, with about 2 and change to go in the fourth quarter, where you have OG Anunoby, Isaiah Hartenstein, and Dante DiVincenzo creating a crowd around Domantas Sabonis that leads to a turnover and an empty possession. That's the type of thing that OG Anunoby does. I know he got the call for punching the basketball, but how many times did he get a hand on the ball and help keep a possession alive for the Knicks? And so I actually think, Han, and it's, you know this, having covered sports as long as you have, coming back from an injury requires that you have enough confidence to trust yourself. And I thought his jump shot looked a little bit short. I'm not sure what he's experiencing, but his willingness to be out there and to defend with that elbow, the jump shot will come. I'm not worried about it. It was great to see him on the floor.
Monica, you mentioned Burks and Bogdanovic. It's worth mentioning the numbers because early in that fourth quarter, Alan and I are watching, and we're saying, got to get some production out of these guys. Burks finished the game with 12, and Bogdanovic scored 7 of his 9 points in the fourth quarter.
They were both huge in the fourth. Alec Burks reminded you that he got a little handle. He was shaking some of them young fellas for the Sacramento Kings, getting into his bag with the pump fakes at the free throw line, having defenders fly by. It was good to see from him. This is by far his most consequential output since he's joined the New York Knicks. And then for Bogdanovic, I was calling for a little bit more of your shooters on the move because you got to give the Kings their credit defensively, guys. And in the arena, they were so tenacious. They were all up in all of the Knicks, and we saw that versus Jalen Brunson. And, of course, Alec Burks, as you're watching, and now Bogdanovic, both of those guys getting on the move or putting their moves on the defense, being able to score against a very feisty and focused Kings defense tonight was huge in terms of creating enough room for Jalen Brunson to catch his breath to come in the ball game and close it.
Yeah, Monica, you know how we always now we're scoreboard watching. We're looking at what the standings look like. I mean, minute by minute almost, because these are late games compared to games being played in the East right now. It felt like you get a win like this, the Cavs lose, and you see now when you're looking up. We always want to see who's catching you. Never mind who's behind you. Look up and you see there's 2 games back now of that third position in the East, which is such a valuable bracket to be in. I'd be curious to see, like, when you look at this trip now, you're already 2-0 with 2 games to go. There's great opportunity right now for the Knicks when you look at the standings.
100%. And frankly, if the Knicks had to be a part of retribution last week, right? Kelly Oubre, those guys from the Sixers talking about how the Knicks beat them. Beat them in Philly. The Knicks, in turn, have an opportunity to get a little retribution versus the Golden State Warriors, who's the next team on this road trip, as that was not a pretty performance when the Warriors came to the Garden. And, of course, you got the defending champs looming. But I think winning gritty, winning tough on defense, holding a team under 100 points again, only continues to add deposits into your bank of confidence. And as you continue through this road trip, you can rely on that.
Okay, Monica. We'll talk to you on Monday. Great to have you on, as always. Great job with Kenny tonight.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
All right, we touched on the standings. Here's what it looks like, Alan, up to the second of the Eastern Conference. Knicks 2 games, as we mentioned, behind Cleveland. The Pacers won and the Sixers won. And that is what it looks like with 15 games left for the Knicks in the regular season.
3 back of second, dare I say, as well. Keep that in mind. Like I'm telling you, opportunity is still there for this team as they finish this season, because this road trip is one thing, but the schedule has a lot of winnable games in it coming up.